I ran into my friend yesterday and he was telling me, he was like, "You're so different. You're so different than who you used to be. You remember how you used to be?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm now a different version of myself. I am the version I choose to be, right? I am more aligned." And I was just explaining to him and breaking it down how I chose a version of myself. But that version that he knew me as before was also another version of myself. And he was like, okay. So he was down when he was interested in hearing that story of how, like, you can choose the version that you want to be and live from that version, and your life will then, like, almost encapsulate you and give you things that happen in your life that aligns with that version, right? So basically what I'm saying is, the version of me before was a bit of a scared version, nervous version, maybe even neurotic in some ways, and I always had circumstances and instances in my life that aligned with that. But I dropped that. I chose a version of myself that is so much aligned with, like, just knowing my self-worth and all these things, and so forth. And because of that, my life aligns with that. But then he was like, "Aren't you happy?" I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "Aren't you happy to just kick that version out of your life?" And I had to sit back and think, and I'm like, "Am I happy to just kick that version?" He's like, "Yeah, kick that version in the back and never see it again." But you know what? That version of me is a version of me that I needed, because that version of me created the version of me that I have right now. If anything, I would hug the version of me from prior. You know what I mean? I would hug the version of me, because that version of me kept me safe. That version of me protected me by any means. And I can almost, like, get emotional about that version of me. That version of me was so necessary. That version of me, I would never kick in the back and run from. That version of me was me. That version of me did everything it needed to do. That was me, and I love that version. But what I would say to that version, I would say, goodbye. I've moved on. I've grown. You know what I mean? So I guess I'm saying this to say that you may have things that have happened in your past that you may be even ashamed of, that you would want to erase, never ever to speak of again, to deny. And I say, don't deny, don't erase, because that version of you, with all the trauma and all the drama and everything, created who you are today. And without that version, you would not be the beautiful and gorgeous and just lovable and blissful version of yourself today. So never be ashamed or in denial of who you was. That's who you were. Never let it completely take over your life. You can't see past it. But don't let shame or anything like that make you feel othered, or make you feel like you can never, ever, ever think of the version you used to. Just be proud of that version. You've moved past it. You've grown past it. But that version of you was needed for you to be who you are today. That's it.